Our speaker has been a speaker at Launchpad maybe 4 times before, I think. And he's a very, very high-profile guy in this town. Charles Black. He possesses over 20 years of executive, technical, and professional sourcing and full life cycle recruiting expertise. He's been retained for extended engagements with large national consulting firms such as Perot Systems, Price Waterhouse, KPMG, Pete Marwick, and Keene Incorporated. He has performed technical and senior level recruiting for a number of corporations, including Dell, AMD, Apple, National Instruments, and Silicon Labs. He has traveled both nationally and internationally to facilitate recruiting engagements and has provided consulting and recruiter training services to agencies and Fortune 500 corporations alike. He has authored various articles on issues of recruiting that have been published in newspapers nationally and on recruiting-specific forums such as the Fortis Letter and the Electronic Recruiting Exchange. Let's give it up, please, for Charles Black.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Great. All right. So originally I was going to do this with another individual that I work with, a guy named Gary. Unfortunately, he had a death in the family, so he had to exit. So I just decided to still come and talk to y'all. I have talked with Launchpad and a couple of other different job clubs a number of times. And I like to talk about the issues that you're concerned about, which is finding a job, what's in the best interest for you, not what's in the best interest for the corporations. So corporations tell you all the time, if I start fading out, let me know, it sounds like getting an echo. Corporations all the time will tell you things to do. Sometimes they're not in your best interest. Often they're not in your best interest. So I want to address some of those issues and then answer questions that you might have about your job search. So bear with me for 1 minute, if I can find the document. Sorry. I have to put these on now to see, so forgive me. I'm at that age, right? I do a lot of job counseling on the side with people one-on-one, helping them through their job search process. And the problems I run into, the things that are a concern to them, never change. They're the same. They're the same that they were 15 years ago. They're the same that they are today. People that send resumes, that think they're a great fit for a position with a company, and they never get a call and never heard a word. How many of you have experienced that? I'm taking these off if you're taking my picture. So many of you you've experienced that? Okay. I run into that a lot. I hear that all the time. So I work on the corporate side as a recruiter. I work with different companies on a contract basis, helping them staff their positions. I want to talk to you a little bit about how that process works, what you need to know, what you don't know, and why you're not getting calls back. And then I'll answer questions. So in recruiting, what happens is this. A manager decides he's got a specific position he wants to fill. He hasn't been able to fill it on his own. He's advertised internally. He may have advertised externally. And then basically he has no other recourse, so he wants someone to help him find a position. So basically the recruiter in the organization is then tasked with finding the talent. So as a recruiter, I've worked and recruited for finance, I've recruited for engineering, I've recruited for information technology, I've recruited for warehousing, engineering, I really love. Has anyone ever here heard me speak before? Anyone here? Wow, really? Just one or two? Okay. So, is anyone here aware of my engineering background? No? Okay, I have none. Okay. Just like my IT background, I have 0. Okay. And yet I'm the guy that determines who's going to interview for those positions. Sound like a broken process? Okay. You don't have very much faith in me, do you? Okay. So here's what happens, and this is why you guys have difficulty, why you have trouble finding positions, and why you have trouble getting an interview. The manager takes a requisition, and typically he takes a requisition that he used for 3 other positions, because he's in a hurry. He doesn't want to take the time to write a new requisition, so he takes another requisition, he changes 2 or 3 words in to kind of target what he's looking for. He sends it over to recruiting. Recruiting takes that information, posts it on the website through their applicant tracking system. Y'all apply for the positions. 100 some odd people, 300 people will apply for the position. I then screen through all the resumes, find the one or two that I think are, well, 4 or 5 that I think are a good fit. I'll call those individuals, talk to them about their background, their experience, their skills. If I think I've got a pretty good fit, I'll then send that resume to the manager with a little bio about the person, why I think they're a good fit. He'll look at the resume, he'll talk with me about it, and decide, well, let's bring this person in for an interview. There are so many pitfalls in that process. There are so many things that can go wrong in that process. And there are so many things that you need to know that will improve your chances of getting the interview. And they're common sense things. First off is the position that they advertise. When we advertise a position, many times it's from an old requisition that they've jotted on a couple things. Sometimes not all of the information is in there. The majority of the times not all the information is in there. But the manager has detailed some things he's looking for. Believe it or not, we, as corporations, as corporate recruiting, make it really easy for you to get an interview. Simple. Easy. Anybody believe that? We do. We really do. Because we tell you exactly what we're looking for in the requisition. We list it all. And then you look at the position and go, I've got that skill, I can do that, I've been here, I've done that, hey, I'm a great fit for this, let me send my resume over, and you send your resume over, and no one calls. And the reason no one calls is the resume you sent over is the one you spent hours working with and maybe paid somebody $1,500 to help you build, and it's flashy and has all sorts of information and it looks really nice. But it doesn't address the position for which you've applied. I'm looking for specific skills, especially as a recruiter. When I get the job description, I go through the job description trying to pick out what I think are the top things that we're looking for. And then I look for those things in resumes. If your resume doesn't match the requisition, I'm not going to call you. If your resume matches the requisition, I'm going to reach out and call you and talk with you about your background, talk with you about your experience, and see how close of a fit you really are. The closer the fit is, the more likelihood is I'm going to move it forward to get an interview. I will tell you this, that I really believe, probably 90% of the time, the best candidate is not hired. The best candidate isn't even interviewed. Because the best candidate, the person that has all the skills, the abilities that we're looking for, didn't take time to mirror that in their resume. They just took their resume, they apply for the position, and they post and they pray that someone will call them. I'm getting feedback, I'm going to move away. That's a really bad process. So, because I do job counseling and talk with people one-on-one all the time, I'm just going to tell you a couple of real-life scenarios. I won't move that way either. Real-life scenarios. So I worked for a company a while back. It was a renewable energy corporation, and didn't do well. Had some venture capital, went for a while, then went under. I started another job. About 4 months later, 5 months later, I got a call from the VP who called me up and said, Charles, can you help me? Haven't been able to find a job. I said, sure, let's meet Kevin. And we met for lunch, and I talked with Kevin. And I'm going to walk you through the process I did with Kevin, because it's the same process you need to know that will make a difference on how you find a job. So I said, Kevin, tell me about what's going on. Where have you applied? What's been your experience? What have you received? How many interviews? How many phone calls? He said, well, I've applied at 85 companies. I said, wow, good for you. That's a lot. I said, how many interviews? 0. How many phone calls? How many phone interviews? 0. I said, really? He goes, yeah. So then I walked him through a process that we're going to talk about today. It took a little bit of time for him to do the homework. I don't know what that means. He did the homework, executed. He sent out 15 resumes. He got 5 interviews and was hired in 4 weeks. And what I told him, I'm going to tell you how easy it is to enhance your chances of getting the interview. So what I did with Marty, Kevin, was basically sit down with him and I said, look, what sells a resume, what a resume is, let's talk about resumes. What a resume is a visual advertisement of who you are. That's all it is. It's an advertisement. It's designed to do one thing. Anybody know what? No. Get an interview. That's all it's designed to do. It doesn't get you the job. No manager looks at a resume and goes, hire this guy. They go, I want to talk to him. And then the interview gets you the hire. So the resume is designed to get you the interview. The way it gets you the interview is it has to do something when someone reads it. What does it have to do? It has to make them say, wow, I want to meet this person. Wow, this person can fix my problem, can ease my pain. If it doesn't do that, I have no reason to talk to them. The way it does that is by demonstrating that you've done that in the past. And the way you demonstrate you do that in the past is basically by being better than the other people that have applied for the position. So you're in a war to find the position that you want. You're competing with everybody else in this room because everybody else in this room is looking for a job. The way you beat the other people in this room is to have some tools to help you. If you're going to go to battle, and you go to war, if I have a gun and you have a knife, who's going to win? Me. If somebody has a bomb and I have a gun, they're going to win. So whoever has the best arms wins. So arms are action, result, and metrics. Everything you do related to the job should be an action with a result and measurability, or a metric. So I didn't do accounting. I did accounts receivable, reducing, I can't think of the word. I'm not an accounting person. I know why I picked that. I'm doing accounts receivable, reducing, what's the word I'm looking for? Money owed, the money is supposed to come in. Receivables, reducing receivables by 15% and collecting $75,000 per month. That's something somebody can go, wow. Do you know why they go, wow? Because they see it. We think in pictures. We don't think in words. When you write words and you don't build a picture in my head, I'm not going to remember it. But if your words can give me a picture, an action result with measurability, so that I can visualize it, I'll remember that much longer. It makes a bigger impact. So action, result, measurability. Here's how you do it. And this is the interesting part. After counseling people for years and years about how to build resumes, how to do it, again, I will tell you this. This is my opinion, not anybody else's. If you don't agree with me, don't do it. Everyone has their own opinion. But I'm not a big fan of companies you pay a lot of money to build a resume, because I get them all the time. I get resumes from people all the time. I can tell when they went someplace and paid somebody a lot of money to build a resume, because the resume comes to me looking different than all the other resumes. It has all the flowery stuff and different structures and different sections, and doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me what you did to make the company money, when you did it, which is really important. That's all I care about. I don't care if you write your resume in crayon. If you can demonstrate that you have the skills and abilities to do the job that I need to get done, I'm going to call you up and talk to you. That's what needs to be in a resume. You have the skills and abilities to do the job. So, how do you build that? How do you get there? Do y'all know where creativity comes from? Anybody? One guess? Imagination. Okay. Creativity comes from nothing. If I take a 5-year-old and I take them to a chalkboard at a parent-teacher conference, and I leave them over there where I talk about my older child, and the board is just full of the teacher's stuff to do today. That 5-year-old grab a piece of chalk in the very corner of the board, start drawing pictures of a dog and some flowers and some stick people. If I take them to a blank chalkboard, give them a piece of chalk, and I talk to the teacher and let them go, when I turn around, it'll be full of stuff. Flowers and dogs all over the place. Because when they're not limited by what they already know, they get creative. Creativity comes from nothing. You need to get creative about your job search. You need to get creative about your arms. So here's what I recommend on how to build arms. Most people say, okay, I got homework to do, so they sit down with a piece of paper and go, okay, what did I do at my most recent company? And they come up with about 4 things. And they come up with an actionable result with metrics. Okay. And then they go, I'm tapped. I got nothing else. Then they think, well, I need to come up with something else. So who do I know that knows what I do at work? And they come up with one of their work associates, and they talk to their work associates, and the work associate says, yeah, okay, I know you did that, and that looks good. Okay, yeah, we did the metrics there. Yeah, that's about it. That's the wrong person. You want to talk to somebody that knows nothing about what you do. I would tell you to get with a friend down the block who's not involved in your work. Get with them, have them review your arms, and they'll start asking you all sorts of questions because they don't know what the heck that stuff means. And when they ask you questions and you have to explain what it is you do, you'll think of 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 other things that help you build those first 4 arms, and you'll start expanding the arms. The goal is to come up with probably, this is how my process, to come up with about 20 to 30 arms for your most recent position. For the position before that one, about another 20, 30 arms. For the position before that, another 20, 30 arms. Not a resume, just a list of actionable items with results and metrics. Okay? Here's the beauty. Now you get a position you want to apply for. I have an example. Okay, so I just pulled this off before I came out here. It's Channel Marketing Manager. And in this thing, we tell you all the things we're looking for that we want to hire. So I want someone that has can define product channel marketing strategy, including development of channel marketing and activities in accordance with overall business goals and objectives. I want someone that can perform and review periodic market and program analysis of targeted customers and channel partners. Someone that can develop communication tools, execute marketing plans with KPIs in mind. Knowing that's what they're looking for, what I would do is on the first one, define product channel marketing strategy. If I'm a channel marketing person, I'm going to go through my bullets that I've built on my arms. I'm going to go, that arm addresses it from that company, that arm addresses the first one for marketing strategy, and that arm. And those are the first 3 arms that I slide over to my resume. Then I look at the next thing you're looking for, perform and review periodic market and program analysis of targeted customers. Well, I've done that. Let's see, I did it here and there. Those 2 bullets are the next 2 things that go in the resume. Now, what I basically am doing is I am mirroring the requisition in my resume. Yes?
I've heard from different people different things about this. That when you're looking at the requisition and you're putting the things on your resume, should you put them in order as the way that they are?
Yes, as much as possible. Now, you don't want to be, okay, there's subtleties to it. If I have a requisition and your resume reads exactly like the requisition, you're already low, right? I'm going, yeah, okay, you tailored it exact. So yeah, I'll give you an example. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the top part of a resume. So I brought 2 resumes. And bear with me for a minute, because I think this is important. This will help drive it home. So Channel Marketing Manager, I wish I had enough to give everybody, but I didn't get them all printed. So perform and review periodic market and program analysis of targeted customers and channel partners. Develop materials for and conduct partner training on key products and services. Develop partner communication. Execute marketing plans with KPIs in mind. Analyze results and optimize. Develop channel-wide demand generation programs. Develop and oversee a valid partner program and manage KPIs in terms of partner recruitment and sales force. So all these criteria in. So I got 2 resumes. And I'm going to read just the very first part, okay? Because here's the truth. You know how long a recruiter or an HR person looks at your resume when they're going through 300 of them? Seconds. I know it's sad, seriously, but it's seconds. I've got 300 resumes. I go, click, look at the first one. I go, nope, that quick. Look at the next one. Maybe. He's in the maybe pile. This one, no, that's kind of interesting, yes. And I literally go through 100 resumes. I just go, put them in the 3 piles. The nopes, I get rid of. That's how long I looked at your resume, after all the amount of time you took to do it. And what's worse is the manager only sees the resumes I send him. The managers are not in, the hiring authorities, the directors, managers, are not in the applicant tracking system looking for candidates. They're trusting me to do it. And because of my engineering degree that I don't have, and my information technology degree that I don't have, I'm the guy that decides what goes forward. So you had better be able to convey to me that you have the skills and abilities in a very layman's terms that match the requisition if I'm going to move it forward. So I read a little bit of information about the rec, and you probably won't remember all of it, but I'm going to read 2 different highlighted qualifications. First one, admirable experience in managing various channel programs, sound knowledge of channel marketing process and programs, profound knowledge of Adobe Creative and Photoshop, ability to manage multiple projects along with internal and external resources, ability to successfully complete all projects within required timeframes, excellent skills of business intelligence software, amazing skills of Microsoft Office applications, proficient in managing various teams. Another one, second resume. Define market strategy, setting goals. Conduct partner training for programs and services. Develop demand generation programs within the channel and track results and metrics. Manage business alliance and partnership programs with a focus on MDF, ROI, and end-to-end processes. Execute marketing plans against KPIs and manage to desired results. Which of those two would you be most likely to think is a better fit for the role? The second one. Guess what? It's the same guy. First guy is a resume I got and went, nope. Okay? And this happens all the time. I go through all the resumes and I go, no to these, maybe to these, yes to some of these. Yes, I do an interview with 4 or 5 people, and then I send them on to the manager, and I'm off to the next rec. And then I get phone calls. And Clay calls me up and says, hey, I applied for XYZ position, wanted to find out if there was any interest, what my background is, what do I do next? And I go to my applicant tracking system, and I look at the resumes, and I go, oh, he's in the reject pile. And I go, Clay, thank you very much. I appreciate your playing today. But here's a consolation prize, and thanks, can't help you. And Clay goes, wait a minute, what? I have all the experience on the requisition. I have everything you're looking for. And I go to his resume, which is the second one I read you, and I go, well, Clay, we're looking for someone who has KPIs. And he goes, well, I've got KPIs. I go, well, wait a minute. It's not in your resume. And I'm not jumping on you, Clay, but, and Clay says, well, I can't put everything I've ever done in my resume. You know how many times I hear that, and I just cringe every time I hear it? I go, I'm not asking you to put everything you've ever done. I'm asking you to put in your resume the things that we're looking for, if you've got the experience. Take the time to tailor your resume for the position. So then I talk with him, and I go through and I go, well, he does have that background. Yes, he's got that experience. He's got this experience. And then I do what I did here, is I take the top part and I change and edit on his resume, and I put all the things in his resume that he's done. I don't like doing this. I don't have time, really, but every once in a while I'll do that for some individual. And this is the true story. I've actually had people that the resumes were sent forward initially. We had the first couple of days, maybe 10 resumes came in. Manager's griping, he's screaming that he wants people right away. I go, fine, here's 10 resumes, right? Get them off my back. So he looks at the 10 resumes, he goes, no, these guys aren't a fit. No to all of these. So then I tell Clay, I said, thank you very much, but not really a fit. And then we go through the process. And 2 weeks later, I take his revised resume and I send it in with a bunch of other ones to the same manager. The manager goes through all the resumes. And this is not hypothetical. This has happened over and over and over. I've done this. He goes through the resumes, he goes, hey, this guy looks pretty good. Can you bring him in? I go, yeah, I can bring him in. Bring him in for an interview. He gets interviewed and he gets hired. Take the time to tailor your resume for the positions for which you apply. How many of you have, I got to pick on somebody, who likes cars? Anybody here like cars? I'd pick you, but you're way, way back there. Okay, you like cars? Do you have a favorite car?
Oh, a Ferrari.
A Ferrari, okay. Okay, what color?
Bright yellow.
A bright yellow.
Purple, yes.
All right, bright yellow and purple Ferrari, okay. Two-door, obviously, correct? Okay. Do you want chrome wheels? Love chrome wheels? You want the wide mag wheels? You'd love, okay. And what size engine?
The biggest one.
The biggest one, 12-cylinder? Okay, all right. And let's just say that she had the means and ability to buy that car. She advertised that she wants to buy that car. And I call her up, and I'm sorry, your name?
Beverly.
Beverly?
Yes.
I call up Beverly, and I say, hi, Beverly, my name is Charles. I saw your advertisement for the car. I've got one for sale. She goes, great. What's the next thing she says? Tell me about it. Well, it's a 1972 Ford Pinto with a... Why are you laughing? It's a car. She's looking for a car. I've got a car. What's the problem? It's a 1972 Ford Pinto, two-door, a lot of smoke out the back, but, it works all right. You know what's funny is you immediately get that. You immediately get, well, what are you bothering even calling her for? She's looking for a Ferrari. Well, yeah, I didn't happen to mention that I actually have a Ferrari at home. Yeah, I have that too, but she wanted a car, so I was going to give her a car. It's the same thing with jobs. We tell you exactly what we're looking for. If you have those skills and abilities, make sure they're reflected in your resume so that I can tell. So that I can tell the manager. If they're not reflected, how do I know? And for you to tell me I can't put everything in my resume, I go, okay, that's fine. Thank you very much for calling. Yes?
Yeah, I'd like to just kind of echo your thing that I had put a very specific example of something they were looking for. I had happened to work for the gorilla of their competition.
Okay.
Nobody, the recruiters didn't recognize that the experience was directly that. So if you come in with a technical term and you think it's very specific, and if you were talking to the peer, sometimes that isn't enough.
So here's a very good point that she brought up that I'll address. When you tailor your resume for the position for which you apply, and I'm not going to pick on specific words, but let's just say I'm looking for XYZ skills. Okay? I say I'm looking for XYZ. And unbeknownst to me, XYZ is pretty much the same skill as ABC. They just have two different names. And you put in your resume ABC, do not trust that I know the difference. I don't. If they're asking for XYZ, put XYZ. Okay? Because I've actually had that happen. I went to the resume, went, nope, not a fit. And then I talked to the manager, and the candidate calls me up, and I go, well, we're actually looking for this kind of experience. He goes, I have that experience. I go, well, why is it in your resume? He goes, it is. It's ABC. I go, oh, I didn't know that was the same. He goes, yeah. Oh, okay. Luckily, we found out because we talked, but I probably wouldn't have called him. Yes?
What happens, I've been trying to transfer from one job market to another.
Okay.
My skills transfer over. I have reworked to take the language out of where I am to use the language of the job market that I'm looking to get into. But what happens, has been happening, they see the company with the last experience and they pigeonhole it and don't even bother looking.
Yeah, I don't have any fast cures for you on that. What I can tell you is this. It is much easier to transition. I talk to people all the time that say, you know, I've been in marketing but for the last 20 years, but I'm bored. I don't see a lot of marketing jobs, and I'd like to do sales. And they want to transfer. Or I've been in accounting, and I don't want to do accounting. I want to go into finance, or I want to go into, you know, worse, I want to go into sales. The time to change from one discipline to another discipline is when you're already in a company. And you do that subtly, okay? So, and I've actually counseled people on how to do that process. So if you're an accounting person and you think you have exceptional sales skills, which none of them do, but if you think you do, what you would do is start talking with the sales group, start seeing what they're doing, show interest in that area, maybe move in your finance responsibilities more into the sales function, then start talking with the managers. It's not going to happen overnight, but you can move within a company a lot easier when you're already there than to say, I'm going to leave this company where I've been doing accounting for the last 20 years, and now I'm going to try and go over to this company and market myself as a salesperson. That's a pretty big uphill climb. You might be a phenomenal salesperson, but without a history, I'm not sure I want to take that kind of a risk. Yes?
With so many companies that now, they will scan your resume and then autofill it. If at all possible, I said you would prefer to put it in on your own and not do the download.
I'm not clear of what you're asking.
A lot of times they'll say, hey, scan your resume, and it will self-populate their application. It just butchers your resume. So all that time and effort you now put in, it seems to almost completely disappear as they put in. In that case, well, if you can at all, don't do that. But in that case, it's the cover letter where you have to tailor it. Hopefully that's the only part that won't be changed.
Let me address cover letters. Okay? So I sit at a desk all day long. I work at a computer all day long. And if it weren't for cover letters, I wouldn't get any exercise at all. Cover letters all say the same thing. I'm a great person, I'm excited about your company, I got background in this area, and I can't wait to work. None of that I care about. What I care about is, do you have the skills and abilities to do the job that I need to have filled? Where do I find that out? The resume. Because I don't care what you put in your cover letter. It doesn't tell me when you did what you did, how you did. I want to know that at this company, in the last 4 years that you worked there, what did you do while you were there? That tells me when you did what you did. And then I always get, no one said it yet, go ahead.
I think it varies by industry and context. I'm a software developer, and I think in general, that whole. But there was one recruiter in-house company who I spoke to, and he was prepping me, and he said, he stressed the importance of the cover letter. He said, if you don't have a strong cover letter, we're not even going to look at the resume.
There's exceptions to every rule. That's fine. If someone asks for a cover letter, they want one, go ahead and send one. If you want to send one, send one. But I will tell you, go ahead.
That's it. I've seen a couple of applications where it's required.
Yeah, I know. You know what I write?
They won't even accept the application until you have something.
Yeah, you know what I write? And I've applied to those same positions, and I put my resume in, cover letter, I write C resume. And I submit. And I've been hired. It all comes down to, so here's the thing about the applicant process. Yep, go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard you speak a few weeks ago, and you said something that I want you just to address it and fit it with what you're talking about.
Okay.
Which was, if you find a candidate with 100% of what you're looking for, you don't bring them forward because they can't grow. You bring somebody with 70%.
Right. So here's the thing. I run into candidates all the time. So I do active recruiting, right? So as an internal corporate recruiter, my job is to go out and find talent for a position. Okay? I'm not a job counselor at work. I'm not there to find you a job. Even when I call you and talk to you about your phenomenal skills and when I think you're good for the position, if you're not, I'm done. Because my job is to go find people for the other positions and to fill them for positions. I'm willing to work with you, help you all the way through the process, right until the manager goes no, and then we're done. I'm not a job counselor. Okay? And that's the one mistake I think a lot of people make when they get with a corporate recruiter. They think that corporate recruiter is supposed to help them find a job. No, it's not their job. Let's talk about what Kathy's talking about. So when I look for talent and I find a resume on the internet, I find a profile, I find information about an individual, and I call that individual, I'm selling. I think that person might be a fit for the position that we have a hard time filling, so I'm selling. I'm talking to them. And invariably they say, well, yeah, I hear the list of things you're looking for. I appreciate it, but I probably only have, 4 out of the 6 things you're looking for, 4 out of the 10 things you're looking for, 5 out of the 10. So I appreciate it, but you're probably not the best fit. And my response to that is, let's not get the cart before the horse. Because the truth of the matter is this, as a manager, hiring people, and managers make this mistake, junior managers still make this mistake, most senior managers know better. So let me take one step backward first. So when I talk to a manager about his needs, I get his requisition, I don't just go off and recruit on it, I go, let's meet, let's talk. Okay, can I pick on you? All right. So, Keith, I have my glasses on. So Keith, you're the manager, you give me a requisition, we get together and I say, well, Keith, talk to me about what you're looking for. And Keith will tell me all sorts of stuff. And then I'll say, Keith, tell me the 10 out of 10 things you want to have. Keith, well, I just need somebody to, no, Keith, I want the 10 out of 10 things. Tell me the perfect candidate that has 10 things that you'd really like to have. And then Keith gives me the 10 things. Sorry to pick on you, I didn't even ask any questions. So, Keith gives me 10 things. If I find a candidate on the internet, on the resume base, on the application, one that's applied for the job, and he has 10 out of 10 things, he's not going to get hired, most likely. Why? Where are you going to go? If you can do everything, if I have a job, if I'm the manager, I'm probably not going to hire you. If I have a job and I need these 10 things, and you have 10 out of 10, you're going to come to work for me, you're going to do a phenomenal job for 3 months, and then you're going to go, I'm bored. I'm not learning anything. This isn't any fun. I'm bored. I want to do more. Well, I need you to do this. Yeah, but I want to do... and off you go. You leave the company. I've seen it time and time again. I want to hire somebody that has 7 of the 10 things. Because now there's 3 things he's got to learn, she's got to learn how to do. There's some challenge there for that candidate to learn when they get to the new job. If you have 10 out of 10 things, you go to an interview and you have all 10 things and you're really excited that you're going to get the job, you probably will, and you'll be looking again in 6 months because you're going to be bored. And most managers learn that's the scenario after a period of time. They go, you know, I think I need to hire somebody with 6 out of 10 things, or 8 out of 10 things, but not 10 out of 10 things. And I've actually seen them bypass people that are like overqualified, because that is overqualified, yes.
So I have run into both situations, and it drives me nuts and makes me crazy, because most of my experience is at the University of Texas. And so I've applied for positions where I clearly had everything that they were looking for,
Good.
and I wasn't even interviewed because so many people apply. They actually hire somebody who has more than one. You know, they don't need a master's preferred, but so they hire somebody with a master's rather than the bachelor's, although we're equal in I've also applied for positions that I have 60 or 70% because I can grow, and then I'm told you don't have enough qualifications, you don't have what we're looking for, and it makes me crazy because I feel like I have to tell myself something to make people crazy.
Welcome to job search. I don't have a cure. Here's the truth. What I'm telling you is my experience of 30 years of recruiting and working with various managers at various corporations experience. Does anything I say apply to everybody all the way across to every position? Absolutely not. There are companies out there that if you don't give them a cover letter, they probably won't look at your stuff. Fine, write up a cover letter. But if you're sending, here's the one thing about cover letters. If you're sending your resume to apply for a position, you put a cover letter on top. Depending on who gets it, which is mostly guys like me, cover letter goes by the wayside. Okay, because all I really care, I don't care what, I don't care. If you have the skills and abilities, I'll find it in your resume. If you're putting things in your resume that is not, if you're putting things in your cover letter that is not in your resume, why? Why would you not put it in your resume? To show when you did it and what you did it. Because the things that I read in a cover letter are often like the supplemental things that, in my estimation, you didn't think they were important enough to put them in your resume. If they were important, they'd be in the resume. And a lot of times in applicant tracking systems, when they come into the system, the cover letter goes by the wayside. And all they take is the resume. So if pertinent information is in your cover letter, it's not in your resume, no one's ever going to see it. Yes?
Don't large companies have some type of computer system that sort of scans the resumes and pulls out the keyword?
Yes.
How do you get around that?
You don't. You don't. So here's what you do. Here's the process, okay? All companies, and I mean just about all companies. I've worked for companies that when I started, that was the 12th employee. And my first task as an HR generalist, an HR recruiter, was to get an applicant tracking system. Okay? Because we knew we were going to grow and we wanted to hire. Trust me, 90% of the companies have an ATS of some sort. Okay? And a lot of them, especially the larger companies, do have the intelligent software that scans your resume, and based on the criteria already set in the system, there may be 897 keywords that they're looking for. We'll pull those keywords out of your resume and populate a paragraph at the bottom. And that's what it'll search against when it searches for positions. That's true. That exists. Yes?
So what do you do?
Make sure that, well, I would go back to the same thing. Here's the good news. Here's the really good news. Applicant tracking systems are designed to manage an active, live process. Okay? Really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to manage my process of candidates, positions, and people through the interviewing process. That's what the ATS is really supposed to do. After they're through the interview process, the resume still stays in the system. Okay? Because if I can still search and pull stuff up on it. But I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. If you apply for another position, the old resume goes away. Which is a really important fact for y'all to really get a hold of right now. When you apply for that second position, the old resume goes away. Now the new resume shows up. So let's just say you apply for a sales position, You didn't get the sales position, it's still out there. Now you find a marketing position, you trade your resume to focus more on your marketing capability, you put it in, the sales resume goes away, the marketing one will show up. You don't have to worry about someone, trust me, the other thing is I don't care. I'm too busy. If I found a marketing resume and a sales resume in the system, I'd just go, oh, okay, they're smart enough to put one for each they were applying for. I don't hold it against you. You've got skills in both areas. I think it's kind of smart.
If you're tailoring your resume for the job, how do you keep your LinkedIn profile safe? Is the LinkedIn profile end up being superset?
A LinkedIn profile, I will tell you this, LinkedIn profile is extremely important because that's where most recruiters search nowadays is LinkedIn. Okay? So yeah, I would, you know, if I applied for a sales position and it's now been 4 months and I didn't get it and I decided there's this really neat marketing position that I have skills in that I want to apply for, I'm gonna augment my LinkedIn profile to show it as well.
Additionally, I mean, you can't sway your profile. In real time, you have to highlight like sales and marketing and real estate.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. That's a limitation of LinkedIn. Yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. Yeah. Yes.
Longevity of past work experience, how can that hurt or how can one do to better?
Yeah, oh, thank you. That's a very good question. So I get resumes all the time where 2005, 2007, worked for this company. 2007, 2008, worked for this company. 2008, 2010, worked for a company. 2010 to 2012, worked for another company. 2012 to 2013, worked for this company, and now he's applying for a new position. My first reaction is, next resume, please, because this person can't seem to hold a job. Okay? Is that true? No. But I got hundreds of resumes I'm looking through. Unless I happen to look at it and I go, all the things that I'm looking for this particular manager are in that resume. Maybe I ought to call them up. And I call them up, and I've done this. So I call up the candidate, and I talk with them, and I say, let's walk through your job history. So in 2005, you worked for this company, and then you left in 2007, and you went for this other company. Well, yes. That's because the first company was bought by the second company. I go, oh, okay. And then in 2008, you left that company and you went to XYZ Corp. Well, yeah, I did because the VP of the company left, started a new organization, and he recruited me out. I go, oh, okay. The truth is, if there are valid reasons for your move, I'm not holding it against you. I think that's great. But if I don't know, I'll make assumptions to the negative because it's quicker for me. So here's my point. If you have a lot of jobs that you've moved, and the reasons you've moved are valid, company went out of business, you were recruited away, the company was bought. In your bullets, in the paragraph about the company, and the very one of the bullets, last bullet says, left organization due to company being sold. Left organization after being recruited by VP to new venture, and that's the next company. Show them why you made the moves. It makes a difference. Yes?
To add to that, the last question was answered. I'm finding that I'm having trouble with, I have a vast amount of experience in this one area, but it starts off as customer service, and I've gone into a nursing skill set type thing, but not quite nursing school. Then I went from there, and I've gone to repair. So it's like I'm just area. So I really don't know how to tailor that resume.
Okay.
I have a lot of skills.
Here's what I would say. So what she said, so those who can't hear, what she said is that, I had some skills in one particular area, nursing, not actually a nurse, but in the nursing area. Then I also had skills in sales, customer care, okay, and what was the third one?
The other one, I have a certification for soldering certification.
What certification?
I used a certification for soldering, level 2 soldering. So
I don't know what soldering was. Oh, soldering. Oh, okay. And she has soldering skills. Okay. Well, one thing I would say is figure out what you want to do. Whatever it is, if you're going to do nursing, the nursing aspect, then what you do is even though you've got a soldering job, there are certain aspects about that job that might relate to some of the same duties you do in nursing. Those are the aspects that you're going to target in your resume. I'm not saying it's perfect. Okay? Having that many diverse different things, maybe give explanations for why you made the change in the resume. That will help, because I'm going to make, this is the sad part. If I'm left to draw my own conclusions, they're going to be negative. Do you know why? It just saves time. Seriously, it saves time. If I look at your resume, it's like you were a solderer, you're a nurse, you're a salesperson, you don't know what you want to do. If you don't know what you want to do, I'm not going to call you to take the time to figure out what it is I don't have time. I've got 30 some odd positions I'm trying to fill at one time, and about 300 people per position. Anybody good at math? I don't have time to call people randomly to find out about their background. Do I take calls all the time? Do I get 1 out of 1,000 people that I kind of help? Yeah. But when you have that kind of scenario, telling why you've made the changes, I left this, I left the nursing thing to go do this, it was an interest, I was a trailing spouse, or I led, or whatever the reason is, I made moves. Show them logical reasons for why you made the moves you made. It will help. Can't guarantee it, but it will help.
Are you listing that on the resume or not?
Yes. On the resume, you should list that.
Say I worked at a CPA for 20 years, literally moved to be closer to work, and I was living on Roll Avenue, 2 weeks ago. I moved up to a closer CPA firm. Within 3 months, I found a major personality conflict.
Okay.
And I was let go. So, do I put on there major personality?
Yeah. No, you should. You should put major personality conflicts if you never want to work again. Okay. You should put that on there right away. No, you should not put major personality conflicts on. Okay? No.
You say why you moved on the resume, not on the application.
The application, I would put it on the resume. Most times the application is an electronic issue that they do. Here, let me share something about applications real quick. I'm going to change topics, but I'll come back to it. So, HR, I got to be careful on my camera. This is not good. HR, because I want to tell you this. I want to tell you what's good for you to know. When you apply for a position, okay, and you go onto an online form, and the form has all your jobs, what you did, what you made, where you worked, why you left. You put all the information down. And at the bottom of the application, it'll say, blanks left open can be cause for non-consideration, or something along those lines, right? Or something on the website will say that. Okay. In 1998, I applied for a position with Dell Computer Corporation. I lived in Houston. Had my own company, got frustrated, applied for them one day and kind of forgot about it. Got a phone call about 3 months later, and they called me up. And they said, yeah, we saw your background, looks rather interesting. We'd like to talk to you about an opportunity at Dell. I said, okay, great. We talked a little bit, and they said, well, talk to me a little bit about, I noticed that you left all the information blank on salary. Can you talk to me about that? I said, sure. What do you want to know? I said, well, what did you make at your last job? I go, well, it really has no bearing on really what I'm looking for in the future. And he said, well, okay. And then, so they brought me in for an interview, and I interviewed, and they asked me about money again. And then I went through a second interview, and they asked about my money. So here's the bottom line. I never fill out any of the information on salary. I never told anybody through any interview how much money I made or what I was looking for. I worked at Dell for 3.5 years. Why did they put that on there? Because they want you to tell them. Right? Do you know why? If the salary range is 40 to 70, and you tell me let's just do this. I'm interviewing you as a candidate. And the whole time we're interviewing, I'm going, okay, so you did this. And here's what you see. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you did, okay, great. Here's what's going on inside my head. Oh my gosh, this person is phenomenal. They're exactly what I'm looking for this position. They've got all the skills, all the abilities. I know it's like 40 to 70 is the range, but if we have to go to 80, I will to get this person. Okay, that's what's going on inside my head, even though I'm going, And then I say to you, well, talk to me a little bit about compensation concerns. And you think, well, I was making 60 at my last job. It's been a couple months. I'd really like to get a job. I'd like to make more, but I don't want to lose the position. So I'm looking for 58. What's the offer going to come out at? 60, 62. What happened to the 80 I was going to get? Gone. Gone. The only place I know you use that much money that fast, other than a job interview, is Vegas. Okay? So the truth is, it's never in your interest. It is never in your interest to tell anybody what you make, what you're looking for, or what you made in the past. It's none of their business.
And it's required on state application.
It's not required. Okay, let me address that. So it is required, okay? Do you know that if you put 4 zeros, those are numbers? Now, I will say this. State applications, state worlds is a little different. I don't work in the government area sector. I work in the private industry. And there is a little bit of difference, and maybe in state government, I can't address it. They may reject you if you don't put numbers in. I can't guarantee it. But I can guarantee you this. Managers want to hire people that have skills and abilities to get the job done that they need to do. And they want to talk with people that have the skills. And if you have the skills, they want to talk with you. That's the bottom line, yes.
All right, I've got 24 years in the same field, even though it's some companies with a long tenure, some with a short tenure. Is it to my benefit that I say I've got 20 plus, I've got 15 plus, I've got 10 plus?
Okay. So what he's really trying to address is the issue of ageism. Okay? So let me share with you that ageism is alive and well, okay, in the marketplace. Okay? How do you combat that? Well, here's a really thin line that y'all need to know. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being old. One of my heroes, I can only use his first name, is Tom. He's in his 90s, and he's still working in sales. And when I say he's still working, I mean he's gone from company to company, like 3 years here, 4 years here, 6 years here, 5 years there, but he's still working in sales. Meaning he keeps getting hired. Do you know why he keeps getting hired? He's 90. Because he doesn't look old. I'm not saying he's Dorian Gray and looks 30. I'm saying he doesn't wear old clothes. He doesn't have a hunched over style. He doesn't talk slow. He doesn't appear tired. He is the most energetic, vibrant, exceptional person you've ever met. You shake his hand, it's a half shake, and he's happy to meet you, and he talks well. When you look at him, you go, oh, he's probably, I don't know, 60, 50? Okay? There's nothing wrong with having age. There is something wrong with appearing old. And the truth is, even managers that say, I've had managers tell me, I've had them blatantly tell me, yeah, I don't want anybody that old. Which is wrong. What they really mean is, I don't want to have anybody in their mind old. I don't want to have somebody that seems like they're slow, that they don't get it, that they don't want to put in the hours, that they don't want to work. They don't care if that person's 20. They don't want that person. They assume there are more people that way that are older. It's a prejudice. But the truth is, if they meet somebody that's 60 years old, that's vibrant, energetic, good at what they do, can communicate well, they will hire them. I've seen it. Yes.
Oh, I said, that's me.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Going back to the ATS, does it matter? So like SEO, where the number of times you use a certain word to hire yourself in the rank, or is it just mentioning the word once is enough?
Well, no, I would say, well, again, we're talking about strictly about the ATS, okay? The ATS doesn't matter how many times it's in your resume. The minute it shows up, it's going to mark it. So so here's what happens. When I do a search in an ATS, I do a keyword search based on the requisition, the keywords that they're looking for. I'll do a search in the ATS for people that have those keywords in their resume. Having it in there 10 times, it won't come up any more often than putting it in there 1. Really, most of the ATS, you recognize, yes.
Yeah. Speak to me about employee referrals. How does it affect you?
Okay. Employee referrals. Employee referrals are actually a very good thing. Oh, but let's talk about that process. Let's talk about employee referrals. If you are a respected individual in an organization and you refer somebody else, it carries a lot of weight. It carries a lot of weight. If you are not a respected person in the organization and you are referred by that person, it also carries a lot of weight. Okay? So just make sure who's referring you if you're going to use a referral.
Yeah, circling back to the age part again. Someone recently said that I should take my years, dates off my LinkedIn profile for the positions. What's your thought on that?
I would tell you this. As Kathy read my bio, she said with 20 years of recruiting experience, I have 30. There's a reason it says 20. Okay? I'm not going to help people discriminate against me. So if you looked at my LinkedIn profile, it'll go back to like 1998 or a little bit before that, and then it just says prior experience is non-industry related. You can't, and you can look at my degree, but there's no year that I got my degree in there. So basically it goes back, 20 years, that's about it, and no further. And if people want to assume that's because I'm younger, then I'll definitely take that as an advantage. So I'll tell you this, I look at candidates, and it's just human nature, it happens. I'm looking for candidates positions, I'm looking for somebody at a mid-level range, and I see the guy's been working since 1972. It's not a mid-level guy. He might take the mid-level position, he might be a very good fit for it, but I'm not, again, I'm looking to screen people out. That's the other thing. My job as a recruiter, my job as human resources is to screen people out. Seriously, my job is to screen people out. I go through hundreds of resumes to try and take the best so I can give to the manager and save him time. I'm screening people out. So if I'm screening people out, is that who you want your resume to go to? Okay? But if I get a resume, all right, I'll share this story. It's a true story. At the thing that Kathy attended, one of the guys that was there was a guy that I'd sat and done some counseling with, and he had a difficult time finding jobs. And I said, and he was a great learner. He did some really good things when I told him. I said, look, you really want to get the job? Here's what you do. Go to LinkedIn, find the person in the companies that's at the VP level, tailor your resume for the position for which you apply, and send it to the VP. And he sent it to the VP. You know what the VP does? Here's what the VP does. Opens his email, prints it, and he goes, oh, resume, okay. Yeah, Charles, Kevin, here, take this, and deal with it. And he hands it off to a manager, and the manager gives it to the recruiter and says, here, take care of this. Okay? Not a whole lot of help, you don't think? Here it is. So the recruiter will call up the candidate and talk to him, say, well, looks like your background, probably not the best fit. Okay? Or I think it's a good fit, and maybe he doesn't get back to him in time. And so that was happening with this guy. I said, okay, send to the VP, the VP turns it over. He didn't hear anything. So a week and a half went by, and I said, send the VP an email, just saying I applied for this position, I sent you a resume, I was really interested in talking with you, I think it'd be a great opportunity for my background, I think I'm a good fit. Here's what happens. The VP really doesn't want to deal with it. It's a mid-level manager position, okay? But if it's sent to the VP, he can't just ignore it, okay? Because he's got a reputation. He knows enough that he doesn't want waves. So he sends it to a mid-manager to take care of. When it doesn't get taken care of, and he gets contacted a second time, he has a very different conversation with the mid-level manager. And that conversation is, I think I gave you this about 2 weeks ago. Have you called him? Because he's calling me back. I don't need this. Take care of it. Okay? That's the conversation. That's the conversation I've had as a recruiter. Okay? As a middle-level manager recruiter. And you know when that conversation happens, you know what happens? I do whatever I can to take care of this individual. I call him up right away because I don't want him to call the VP a third time. Because if he calls the VP a third time, I'm going to be joining him on the unemployment line looking for a job. I'll be sitting out here with you guys, right? I don't want that to happen. So I will take care of him no matter what. I will get it done. And guess what? This guy did exactly that. He sent it over to the VP. He called up and said, hey, I got 3 interviews. It works. You can be a sheep and go with the rest of the people and apply for positions online and wait, or find out who the person is that's in authority, get your information, because when it goes downward, it's a matter of, I got to take care of things. Now, don't any of you do that for the companies I work for? Because I have enough work to do already, okay? But seriously, when that happens, when I get a VP and says, Charles, this guy applied for a position, I know what he means is this. Get him hired, get him to go away, qualify him, unqualify him, but I don't want him to contact me anymore. That's really what he's saying. Because I have things to do, and this is a nuisance. Yes?
So this is a VP that we're not linked to, we don't know this person, we have a secretary, is that right?
You could be linked to him, not linked to him. I don't think it matters. I'm linked to all sorts of VPs that don't know who I am. Yeah.
I've been trying for about 3 months to get a job with AISD,
Yep.
I never heard from one job, which was right down the street from me. I could walk to work, there's another one, and I'm not applying for it yet. I have a pretty good resume, I have the qualifications on it. Probably about 58 years old. And I was wondering if I went to that school, would that help or
Let's you and I talk afterward, but I would like to talk to you afterward, all right?
Have her talk to me afterwards. I'll explain how school hiring works, and it's really weird.
Yes. I do want to talk with you as well.
I'm concerned about language. I'm concerned about not only English, speaking English or being hired just because I know English, but I'd like to know about other languages. I'd like for us to look at the idea that this is a global society. And so what I'm concerned about, what must I do? I know we all have to look at that we're supposed to do now. So I'm now just trying to figure out how can I be able to just at least start latching on and immersing myself into speaking or trying to understand another language. Being that
If you're interested in learning another language, you can go places to take language lessons. I don't think it has anything to do with job search.
It does, because I see that many of the applications, the things that I see, they're only accepting and you have to be bilingual.
There are positions in which you're bilingual. If you're not, move on. If you want to be, go take lessons in whatever language you want to learn.
Okay, so here you talk, I say, great, you go home, get on our resume, get it all set up for the job application. However, I've already applied to most of the jobs in the area that have my skills. Should I just reapply for the resume?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 90% of the systems, when you apply for the new one with the new resume, it'll supplant the old one. The old one will go away, the new one will show up. I'm sorry?
If it's tailored correctly, they should give results.
If it's It is much more likely to get, no, they won't do that. Applicant tracking systems have hundreds of thousands of resumes in them, okay? When I pull your resume up, I don't care if you have an old one in the system, I'm just going to look at your resume. Again, I have way too many things to do to worry about one individual, what they might have done in the past, what they haven't done. I want to know, do you have the skills and abilities to do the job that I'm trying to fill? If you do, I have a new resume that shows that, I'm going to call you. How are resumes viewed, or how are resumes viewed? Okay, so how are resumes viewed when there's a gap on the resume? Okay, there should never be a gap on a resume. There should never be a gap. Now, if you didn't work, then explain it. Okay, I've hired people that haven't worked in 8 years. You know. We started a family. I stayed home with and had children grew children for a number of years. Okay, I get it. But just a gap. You worked in 1994, and you worked in 2004, didn't work again until 2010, and there's no reason, no explanation. I'm going to do what? Assume the worst, and not bother calling you. If you explain to me why there's a gap and it makes sense, okay, fine. I'll still call you. I want to find out more about it. What time do we have, Kathy? How much time do I have?
You have 3 minutes.
I'm not happy about that. She knows I will go all day. I just love doing this. But anyway, go ahead. I know. We will. We'll stop in 3 minutes.
What if the gap is because in the job hunt, we haven't been hired? That's not, raising the hand, we don't understand.
Well, how long is the gap? 8 years? And you haven't? I'm sorry?
10 months.
Oh, that's 10 months isn't huge. That's not a big deal.
So you would just say job hunting?
No, you know what? Here's the thing. I mean, use a little. If I had a 10-month gap, okay. Again, the resume is about getting the interview. I'd go from months and years to just putting years.
Right, but at this point, what if I go, that's right, so if I only have a job in January, right, I've got nothing to show for 2014.
Oh, okay. You don't need to. I mean, that much, if it's recent, it's been 4 months, 6 months you've been looking for a job, I'm assuming you're looking for a job. You haven't found the right one yet. It's not a big deal. Yeah, that's not a big deal.
How far back do you put in your applicant tracking system, how far back do you put your last jobs? 10 years, 15 years, everything?
So on your resume, how far back should your job history go? The resume, the applicant tracking system pulls the information from the resume. So whatever is reasonable, however much is applied to your job, I mean, whatever you think is appropriate. Mine goes back 20, and that's about it.
I thought the report is more contracting work and permanent, and it's also easier.
I can't even hear you. You need to speak up, please.
Okay. I found that the report is more contracting work than permanent in the U.S. In my personal experience, I get more contracting calls from agencies. And so I guess you filtering resume for permanent. Do you also involve in contracting work?
I'll address it this way. I've been contracting for the last 6 years. Okay, I do a lot of contract work. I apply for positions regardless of their full-time or contract. If I want to talk to the client at that point, my most recent job, I'm actually a full-time employee again, and it wasn't my choice. I told him I want contract, and he said, well, we need full-time, and we went back and forth, and I finally gave in. But I apply for positions regardless. Oh, there's one thing I want to address real quick, and then I got to stop, okay? I just recently had a candidate that applied for a position, great big job search. It's for an executive assistant, okay? And in the middle of all the criteria, it said, need to be able to do this, and other personal tasks required by the executive, okay? I got back an email from the individual, this flaming email that says, I don't do personal things for executives, and I think that's most unprofessional, and just blah, 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 blah. And I wrote back, okay. And I just thought, really? That is so silly, because you took 2 little words out of a job description. You know, the executive this person's going to work for travels 85% of the time. If he needs somebody to go to his house and unlock the door so a plumber can get in, you pay me enough, I'll go do it. I don't care. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But this person got all bent out of shape. So what I would tell you is this. When you look for jobs, and this is the biggest thing you need to know, it's not about the job that you've applied for. Get a bigger picture. I've applied for jobs that I'm way overqualified for. You know why? Because I want to interview. Okay? I've applied for jobs that I'm not qualified for. I want to interview. But if they bring me in, I'm not worried about the job, about getting that particular job. And that's all I'm caring about. Because many times when we interview candidates, we find out they have additional skills. And you know what? Those skills will actually work for Steve, the manager over there, or for Karen, the manager over there. And I'm going to take that background and say, hey, look, let me talk to Karen as well, because I think there's another opportunity for you. But people that limit themselves to specifically the job in their mindset when they go into interview are really making a big mistake, because you don't know what other opportunities exist within the corporation that the HR person, the generalist, the manager are aware of. They may be asking you questions that are outside the scope of what you normally do, and you're going, what the heck? Go along and answer. Talk to them. Explore it. Because many times we've hired people for other opportunities than what they've applied. Yes. And then that's it. This last question.
A word about functional resumes, especially when we're trying to match the requisition. Our experience, relevant experience, might not be on those cases.
Yeah. Here's the bad news. Functional resumes. Functional resumes say that I was, a cookie cutter, a sales manager, and whatever else. Okay? And they list that at the front, and the very bottom is I work from this company, from this state to this state, this company from this state to this state, this state to, okay. The problem with those resumes is this. When I get them, and I look through, you might have some sales background that looks interesting, but I don't know what you did. I don't know when you did what you did when I look at a functional resume. I have no idea when you did those things. And the bad news is, I've got 87 other resumes that tell me when they did what they did. What am I going to do? Unless you are just dead on, exceptional beyond anything I could ever imagine on your resume, I'm going to call the other people first. I'm going to go through those resumes and say, oh, well, here's four that have all of the criteria we want. They did the most recent job, the previous job, and the job before that. I'm just going to call them. It's a lot easier. And I have a much likely higher chance of success. So personally, from a human resources standpoint, and looking at resumes, functional resumes are not the best mode. So, thank you.